Uday, I'm not hearing you. Naresh, at least. Can we go ahead or? Nilma, you there? Yep.
Uday, Vikram, she started recording.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can start.
Okay, cool. Uh, Before that, any questions from yesterday's?
No, Vikram, I did practice. I'm able to do all this uh, topics. Okay,
Okay, good. So,
I didn't get
yep.
any doubts on.
Uh, okay. So, were
But
you able to download the? Yeah,
sorry,
sure.
I forgot Cloud Hub and MMC.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Uh,
cool.
Also, in the topics, you didn't mention about the REST services. Are we going to cover that? Or?
Rest, I mean, see, SOAP and REST are mostly look same actually. So, but anyway, I'll try to give one example on that one. I'll try to inject either SOAP or let me put that one. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So you got downloaded with MMC and you logged into Cloud Hub, right?
No, no. Actually, I was thinking like I thought of downloading, but I forgot it. I did a practice and forgot to download it.
Okay.
I did that today.
Okay. Okay. We'll do one thing. Okay. You try to download and have a sign up for Cloud Hub account. So we'll discuss on this one on Sunday evening. So
Okay.
that's where we'll put. Today I'll cover up this point. Okay. Custom Java components and custom Java transformers. Is that fine?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, in our current project, they are using MMC, it seems. Yesterday, I verified with that.
Okay. MMC.
MMC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is the flow we have. So okay, I'll come to this point. So will deployment will take it on Sunday evening. So the next session in the sense. Okay, coming to the Java components and the Java transformer. So before going to Java transformer, Java component, first we'll discuss about the components and transformers. Uh, what is exactly a transformer and what is exactly a component? So in general, a component in Mule specification, a component is nothing but a lifecycle object for the a lifecycle object for the Mule. So internally, when you drag a component, it will get hold of the Mule event context. But not only that one, but it have its own life cycle. Nothing but it will have the initialization phase, start phase, processing phase, destroy phase. So if you put into the life cycle phase of any application, so these are the common, right? Initialization, starting, processing, and next is the destroy. So whatever the components we have seen here, so those are like life cycle objects. They have the capability to get a life cycle event. They have the capability to have a life cycle. Nothing but they are Mule life cycle objects, nothing other than that. And their core responsibility, according to the Mule documentation, is that if you want to build some business logic, so these are the life cycle objects which are preferred to do that one. It's I meant for the business logic. The business logic could be uh, the kind of requirement according to our requirement. There could be some core logic which we need to perform. So that will bring this one. they're nothing but lifecycle objects. They'll have the initialization phase, start phase, processing phase, and the describe phases. But we never configure all those phases in generally. They're only while we drag it. I'll show that how to write a custom Java components and which kind of interfaces we need to implement. And once we implement, what are the methods we need to override, and what is the input arguments we get, and how to retrieve the payload from that one, and how we can inject the how to get the mule message from that, and how we can get the payload, and how we can play with that. Mostly intentionally we require the payload because that is a request what we need to do the business logic. So I'll show that how to get that payload and how to tweak that payload. Those kind of scenarios I'll explain over here. But just like small stuff is like it's a lifecycle objects which have their own lifecycle implementations, but they are meant for writing the core business logic. Next is transformers. The naming itself says that it is used for the kind of functionality called transformation. So suppose like if you have a requirement to do a conversion from it object A to object B, or a data format of A to data format of B. So purely it speaks about the transformation. It doesn't speak about the logic building underneath. So in the earlier scenario, what we have done, we have converted object to string, right? Object to string, but I have not done any logic. Just my intention here is like I want to transform the data format is in an object. I want to convert it to a string. That's what I have done. That is transformer. So here what I have done, I have an XML data. I want to convert it to JSON. I have not done any logic here. I corely placed a kind of implementation is like just to do a transformation XML to JSON. So that is a core difference between a transformers and a components. Then it is developer option which one to select when. Because if you type Java on the component palette, it is available at the two places. One is at component section, one is at transformer section. See, underneath it is a Java code. Maybe the interface what you implement is different in both cases, but the kind of code what you can write in Java remains the same. Then it comes under as a best practices, and also it comes as a best way of implementation standards. So suppose like if you have a requirement to build a core business logic underneath of your implementation, so and it is not involving any transformer. So suppose like you want to build some kind of logic on XML, and you want to bring a list objects or something like that. So even the XML to maps is there, but still you want to bring your own customized array list from list of maps from the XML request. So at that point of place, still you can think that it is a transformation, because you are not doing any kind of job on the data change, nothing but on the request change. You are only concentrating on the XML format. Data should be populated as a uh, hash map of user defined in Java class. So at that point of place, you need to use a transformer. Coming to the component, when component need to be implemented. Suppose like I have a same XML data, I need to get the values from that XML data, and I need to build some logic, and again I will return XML data but with a different values. So nothing but here I am working on the exact request data, not on the request structure. But in transformer I will work on the request structure rather than the request values. So that is a core difference between a components and a transformers. Transformers moreover looks on the transformation side. Components looks on more on the implementation side or the logic building side. So that is a clear differences between that. And transformer does not have a life cycle object. So it doesn't involve in the life cycle object, but whereas components involves in the life cycle method. It has its own life cycle methods. Sorry. So any points? Okay. So then I'll show how we can go and create a Java classes and how we can inject that Java classes. So
Vikram, if possible, can you take a new example and show me? On top of it, like instead of an existing one, can you write a new project and show me?
I'm not selecting Maven. Uday, the clear differences between a component and a transformer is a transformer can be utilized. A transformer is only meant for doing a transformation of the request payload structure to one more structure. Here it only transform the structure of the payload, either XML to JSON or XML to map or object to string or object to XML or XML to hash map or XML to JSON. Here the values are not getting changed. Request values are not getting changed. Only the structure underneath of the payload is getting changed. So in our case, XML to JSON, we never did any change to the values in the XML elements, nothing but name, age, something like that. So only we converted the structure of XML to JSON. So that kind of concept is called as a transformer. And transformer is not like lifecycle object. It simply extends to interfaces. So we can use that interfaces and get that job done. To create our own custom transformer. Coming to the component not bother about we don't bother about the structure of the component request payload. We bother about only the values, nothing but if suppose like in our example we have an age, I have a 30. So 30 means I need to do some kind of logic building if age is something like that. So I mean like I'm only corely looking at the request values, then I want to do a logic underneath to that. But it is our job whether I want to return in XML format or if I want to do a conversion to that XML. It's completely our requirement. But underneath that core differences is on a component and transformation is like we will write the business logic under the component section, and transformers are corely do the job of doing a transformation. Nothing but converting payload structure of format 1 to format 2. That is a clear-cut differentiations. Did you get me? There? Naresh, you want completely a new project or you want a new mule configuration file?
It's better to take a new project. Like yesterday, we have done it different components. Right?
Yeah, I mean that's what I can have another this one. I can create a new project, right? I can create a new flow.
Okay. Even
because see, I can have a single project for you. That's the reason. So this one, what I'm saying. You got me?
yeah.
So it's an empty one, so I can do that because it will be for you guys. It will be single project. If I want to share, I can directly share to you guys. That's the reason. Okay, now I have to drag HTTP. See now, I'll not configure the connector here. Just I'll not create a new connector because already I have a connector created. So listener connector I have already. So I'm selecting that. Okay. That's fine. Yeah. Now I'm going to main Java. So as I mentioned in one of the session, whenever we want to create a Java classes which are part of our implementation, so those should be available under the source main Java. So that is the reason I'm creating a Java classes under that place. So as a best way, so first create a package. Okay, I created a new package. Next class. Okay. Now I have a class created. So in order to, I'm first telling the Java components, custom Java components. In order to implement a custom Java component, in order to write a custom Java component in Mule, so you need to implement an interface called callable interface. This is important interview questions also. Implements callable interface. So you have to write this one. Okay. You need to import the packages relevant stuff to the class because by default it will not have. So if you see that there is an import callable API lifecycle, as I mentioned, right? Every component involves in the lifecycle of the mule. How it gets involved is underneath it is implementing a callable interface. Callable interface is the lifecycle object for the mule. So that is the reason every component, not only you are writing, the components other than these one also involves in the lifecycle object. How it is means they implement a callable interface. Okay, now if you see that it imported a lifecycle package. Once imported, because it will ask for the adding unimplemented methods. So you need to utilize that method at any cost. So this is a processing stage for the every component. Okay. Next. So whatever the logic you have to write, or in different words, wherever you inject this Java component to the mule flow, this is an entry point for this Java class. Because if you observe, it is having the arguments called mule context. So this will get the mule context while it is getting invoking. Nothing but the current mule context object which is available at the mule Java component invocation in the mule flow, it will get that reference here. So mule context is nothing but it will contain everything about the application, server, your flow, and everything. So that much kind of capability a context, nothing but it's a mule context object, mule core object. It will have a lot of information underneath to it. So it's our requirement, based on our requirement, whatever the relevant information we need to get from the mule event context object and do our job. So but these are the very core steps. You have to implement a callable interface which is a lifecycle object, and you will override a method called onCall, and arguments are mule event context. These are very typical interview questions actually. Callable interface, what is the method you will get? It's onCall, and what is the arguments it will have? It is containing the, by default it returns null, but you should never return null. You should either return your payload as a response from the here, because payload is nothing but you need to return some kind of object which is nothing but you want to give to the next message processor to do the processing. So that much you need, that's what you need to provide from the return object. So now I'll show the different stuff. Before that one, I'll show how the mule context is. So as I mentioned, payload is a object underneath to mule message. Mule message is an object underneath to event, nothing but context object, mule event context object. So nothing but this is our. Now I'll show that how to get a mule message from here. So I'm copying your event context dot get message. If you see that get message, so there are different kind of things you can do. Get message or get message as bytes, get message as string. So everything is mule message here. So get message, nothing but I am getting mule message. Then I know that from mule message I can get my payload. So again get payload. So there are different kind of payloads at Rival. So get payload in normal mode, get payload in a specified class type what you are looking, get payload as bytes, get payload as string, get payload as string with encoding format, get payload for logging. It doesn't have much difference, but I mean, like if you do some, if you want to do an already, you can do that. So these are the different kind of payload retrievals. Suppose like if you want to get a payload as a normal string, yes, this is the way. If your current payload is in byte array format, yes, this is the way you can use. If you feel that your payload is of a specific Java class type like persons object, employee object, or something like address object, something like that. If you are having some different a kind of data type kind of payload structure, then you can write that type of class here. So in generally we'll go with get payload or get payload as string as that's right. Yeah. So this is the hierarchy how you can retrieve a payload from the mule event context. Mule event context, from the mule event context get mule message, from the mule message get the payload. Now just I'm writing. Okay, just I'm saying string payload. That's it. Or if you really don't want to go with that, get payload. So I mentioned object type is payload. I want to get this one. Next, if I want to get the mule message at this point of place, so what is the we need to write event context dot get message. Okay, so it's a mule message. So I cannot write directly here like message. So you need to declare a local variable. For easy way, I'm showing instead of directly writing in order to avoid your confusions, just write a string like this one. It will ask for a declaration, create a local variable, then directly automatically it creates a mule message type variable, kind of data type. So it is again the API level. It's not a lifecycle one. It's a mule message. So it's a mule message kind of object. If you want to get something out of this mule message, so suppose like I have a message, nothing but mule message. Suppose like I want to retrieve the session property variable or flow level variable which got created in my main flow. Okay, this doesn't have anything. Suppose, okay, if I create session variable in the flow, if I want to get that variable into my Java class, Java component class, how can I retrieve that one? Okay, again, okay, I have message already. Message dot get property. So don't use the first one. Yeah, use the second one. Or I'll tell you. Is it deprecated? No. Okay. So this is the way you can get a property which got stored in the mule flows before this Java component got executed. So you can get any kind of property, nothing but either invocation, inbound, outbound, or session. So now, what is a property name you want to get? So currently I didn't declare anything, but I'm just typing for syntax base. Temp. So what is the scope for that one? So just type property. You will have a property scope enumerator. And what is the scope name? It is belong to inbound, invocation, outbound, or session. Just I'm storing to. Now I was able to get the property from the session variable. Suppose I have a requirement which makes me, I did some logic on my payload, but I want to store some peculiar values, nothing but some unique values into my session properties. Either not only session properties, I want to store under one of the property in mule message. So how to set? This is get. Now I will show the set. So we have already message. Now you need to use set property. So you can see the down one, set property. Click on that. Give the KE name for that one. I'm saying just Java. Value from Java. Next, scope. Under which scope this property should be created. Now for just for change, I'll say that invocation. So object, how to retrieve the payload. So currently I have retrieved an object manner, but it is your requirement to get as a byte array or as a string or a normal object, or then you can tweak that object over here. Then it's a mule message. So how to get the mule message? And there are two ways. You can no need to get the mule message directly. You get the same kind of syntax. Do this one. First, get the mule message into one of the variable and do the relevant operations on the mule message. And also, apart from this one, okay, I will show that how the event context will be. So from the event context, there are a lot kind of operations we can do. So if you want to do a event, dispatch event, nothing but if you want to transfer this event to a particular, again to the particular flow, it will do that still. But well, just for understanding purpose, I'm telling. So you can see that dispatch event mule message endpoint URL. Suppose like whatever the mule message available at this from this place to an endpoint. Like endpoint could be your VM flow, or it could be file, or it could be HTTP. So that endpoint URL you need to configure here. So whatever we do on the flow, still that can also be achievable from the mule component object by using the dispatch event. So endpoint URL is nothing but the kind of external system URL. So that is also we can do. What is the request we are giving to that endpoint is nothing but this mule message. So generally we'll never do that one because a lot of tracking need to be maintained. So if you want to get the get current transaction, so just suppose like get current transaction dot transaction. Okay, you want to commit transaction, something like that. So hash code. Okay. So transaction, I don't think so. It is much useful for our understanding. Yeah. Next, some kind of comparisons, encoding formats, get exchange pattern. Nothing but, so suppose like what is your mule flow exchange pattern? Is a request response or is it one way or something like that? If you want to get that, still you can get that. And one more point which I want to cover is like get flow construct. You see here there's a flow construct. Flow construct is nothing but it will give some meta information about the flow. Suppose like I want to print my flow name which is executing here. So at that point of place I can do like event context dot get flow construct dot get name. If I select get name here, get the name of the object, nothing but I'll get the flow name at this point of place. Now this is the one which you relevantly useful most time. So get flow construct is done. Get message is nothing but mule message. These are all mule messages. So if you really get the mule context and you want to do some kind of job, yes, you can do that. If you want to get the current session ID, yes, you can do that. Current in earlier runtimes actually is stop further processing used to work, but currently it is not working. Nothing but if you want to forcefully stop your flow actually. So suppose like you have done some implementation and you want to stop the flow. So at this point of time, this is stop further processing, but it is not a recommended one because your flow will go into down mode, and again a manual intervention or your to make the application up and running. So just for the understanding, just for key point I'm telling, don't use this one, but for knowledge, if you have interview question something like is there forcefully, yeah, this is a method, a event context method called is stop further processing. Again request event, so if you want to call any from here the request, see whatever we are doing on the flow, it's a graphical level, but underneath they will implement these methodologies only. They're nothing other than different. So if you want to do a transformation, still this is support because it's an event context object, still it will support to that. So mostly I will tell one more thing, get message. Okay, get message dot get unique ID. Yeah. So this is a unique ID, nothing but the message ID. Why I'm telling this one is like sometimes we will rely on the unique ID values of the each transaction. So how to get that from the mule context? So again, it's not, maybe it is in mule context, but still it lies in the mule message only. So get mule. Suppose I'll write this one. Uh, message dot get unique ID. So these are the different kind of values what we in generally rely on. But the core enter like here is like the payload. How what the logic has to be done is on payload. Suppose like if you have a JSON object, then you need to want to convert as someone said yesterday requirement. Then you don't write entire logic in on call method. Again, bring the Java standards like call the another method by passing your arguments from this from here to another method, and try to do that logic. At the end, just do a return and from this class. That's it. But make sure that it should be the payload, the converted payload what you are doing, or not the converted, the payload what you want to return from here. So mostly it should be an object format. Maybe it should not be equivalent to payload. It could be your object value, whatever you create underneath. So, but it should be an object, and which should be given to the next message processor in our section. So that's what you need to make sure. So any points on this one, a mule context object? Because it is, did you get confused anywhere or? Uday or Naresh?
I think I'm good with that.
Yeah, no doubts.
So just I'm returning your payload. Okay. Now these are the very core stuff what we do out of from the component class. Only this one will get different. Nothing. I mean, iteration is the same, but what we written should be the same, will be the different one. That's the only intention. But if you, in generally, this is what we do in getting, storing some values into property scope, or getting some values already there in the properties, or I want to, if some cases, if I want to print the flow name, I can get this one. If I want to get the unique message ID, yes, I can get this one. So that in generally we'll do this one actually. Next, how can I inject that? Okay, now again I need to do a object. Okay. Next is XML to JSON. Okay. Now I wrote a Java component. So drag a Java component from here to canvas. Just double click on that. The configuration section, there are two ways you can configure. One is like by directly giving the class name and using the browse option, or there is an object kind of stuff. This is nothing but Spring kind of injection. Just I'll show that one, but first we'll go to class. So browse it, type your class name. So if you see that example component, it is available under our package. Now if you see that this has been injected to the class. Now if I go to configuration XML, you can see that component class, and this is the class name, should be executed when control comes to this place. So this is how we inject using the normal, this is a Java component. You can't drag a Java transformer here. You have to drag a Java component because this class has been implemented using the callable interface. So that you need to make sure. Okay. Just I have not converted anything, but let me see. Yeah. Okay. If you want to debug it, just keep a debugger in the Java class. Okay. Now run your application in debug mode. Connected, deployed. Okay. I am changing the path because this HTTP entry is a different path for me. Okay. Let's convert to string. Okay. Now XML to JSON goes to JSON. So now we'll see what will happen. Now it will ask for the Java perspective open. Yes, try to open that. Now it will go to the Java debugging mode. Now if you see that, so now you have a mule context object created, got populated. So you can see that in high level section, this is a mule context, client interface, event object, session object. So if you want to see everything underneath to that, yes. So what are the values you want to see under that one? But usually it will be more confusing. But so now the control is at this point of place. This is the one next processor. If you want to go to the next step of in Java class, this is the one. Now the payload got created. Now you can double click on that. You can see the payload, what it got created, what it got. Okay, right click, do a watch. You can see here. When you click on watch, this is the expression section where you can see that payload, value, Okay, it is individually created. Okay, no problem. Okay, now you can see that. So now we have the handle to the current payload from the mule flow to the my Java class. Then you can write a JSON parsing technology or something in Java to convert this JSON object into a normal hash map or according to your requirement. Maybe in general you will not get a single request, you may get multiple requests. It's your up to you. Like you want to get this value from the JSON and do a some kind of logical building or something like that. Just you can put on to into that process. But I only given you the insights how you can get the handle of the payload from the mule flow to the Java component. Then it's your now you can play how you can play. It's completely a Java skill set come into picture at this point of place. How you can play on the data format or data values. Next is mule message. So in generally you don't need to worry about the mule message. By default it will come. You can see, click on inspect. Yeah, inspect.watch. So you can see the mule message at this point of place. So what is the current mule message? Now a session variable is getting created. A new property got created. Now a flow name is getting created. Now you can see that. You can see the flow name. Java POC test flow is the our flow name. So it was able to get that flow name. Now unique ID. Once it gets executed, so this is a message ID in generally called as. So for this transaction, once I click on this one, so it goes to this one into another classes. Just you can go for resume, click on resume. Now the control comes from the Java perspective to the mule perspective. Now if you see that we don't have any change in the payload because I'm returning the same payload back to the caller, back to the next message processor. But I have done two things. I have created a new variable, nothing but invocation. This is a variable. I set like Java, value from Java, and session variable. Oh. Why? Sorry. I didn't create a session variable. I am trying to get a session variable. So, but if you see the log console, ses will be empty for us. Okay. Java mule flow started, and payload is this one, and session is null actually. So the value is not there. Flow name. Okay. Session is null. Flow name is Java POC testing flow, and unique ID is this one, and payload is this one. This is the message which we printed from the logger, not sys.out.println in the Java class. So just I'll cross check for you guys. Yep. Payload session we got a null object because this value is not there. So it has given a null object, null value. Flow name is the Java POC test flow and unique ID. So just this is the values I got printed on the console. So any points on this one?
No, I think I understood that part, but okay, so Vikram, I have a hard stop. I'll have to get onto the plane. So
Okay.
I'll drop off. You guys can continue. Probably I'll watch the video if there is more after this. And the other thing is I don't have those two URLs if you don't mind.
I've already given in the chat.
Oh, you have? Okay. So
I've already. Oh, okay. Sorry, I've given to everyone. Right. Sorry. I thought yesterday also I shared. Sorry. Okay. Now did you see whether you got that message in chat?
yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is how we do in Java component. In generally, a transformer also looks like the same. You have a hot stop you mentioned. Okay. Mhm. Maybe Uday, I'll cover up one or two points actually. Just once you get a recording from Nilima, just have a
Okay.
go through that. It's the only spring
Sure.
bean injection to the component. Okay, nothing other than that.
Okay.
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 Now we
Sure.
did this
Thanks.
configuration. I'm going to do this configuration. That's it.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Now the injection is using the Spring-based implementations in generally. So that is a recommended and best way to do because we can utilize the Spring Bean in different places of the flow flow implementation. Now in first time we have done here, but now next I'm configuring at this point of place object. I will click on plus. It will ask whether you want a singleton or you want a Spring object. It's completely your call whether that Java class should be a singleton based or normal Java class. So I'm going for Spring inject, Spring object based. Next, I want to create a bean. I'll create a bean called Java bean. Java bean. Then I need to inject the class here. So example component is my class. Then these are the different kind of scopes what we available on Spring Core. Sorry, properties or scope in generally, like prototype, request, session, singleton, something like that. So it's completely it's your requirement based which one to select. In generally by default it is a request based, I believe. So for every request it gets initialized in the same way. So but if you want to make a singleton based, yes, this is a way you can select it. Session means it's for that particular session. That kind of scopes a Spring Bean is available. I'm not covering in depth of this stuff. It's completely Java with a Spring technology knowledge, Spring Core. So that's you can. If you don't have, please try to learn something. But this is where we can configure in Mule how to inject a Java class using the Spring Bean notation. Just click on OK, click Finish. Now you can see that it reverts in a different way, Java Bean. Now if you go to configuration XML, you will observe something. Okay, now your component, you don't have component immediately class is equivalent to that Java class name. Now you have a component and a Spring object reference actually. So whenever the control executes this one, so it will look up for this Java Bean object. So if you see the Spring Beans here, which are created in the global section, so it will see the Java Bean name, ID, and associated class will get executed. So the kind of control will be in that way. So once the control comes here, it will look for the Java Bean object and it will get executed. So if you put onto the benefits point of like what is the benefits if you have a Java component, a hard-coded Java way to a Spring-based configuration. See the Spring Bean. When you have a Spring Bean kind of implementation, so suppose like you have a requirement to refer this class in another places, so directly from the mule event context you can get this Java Bean, so you can execute that class by directly, so by directly calling that method name using MEL expression, you can call this Java class directly. So that is one of the advantage. And if it's a Spring Bean, it's a global level section. So if you want to refer the same class in some other different place, yes, directly refer this Java Bean to the Java component. You don't need to again do a hard coding manual stuff. And also it is easy to maintain. And also if you want to declare different kind of properties, values, propagation to the Spring Bean, and it's more under the Spring Bean injection. So where your mule container also works on Spring Bean, both are the same nature kind of people. So that is the advantages when we use a Spring Bean kind of implementations in Mule actually. But you don't need to huddle anything to configure that one. Only that plus symbol, create name, ID, and just give the class name reference. So that's how the configuration will be. So, but underneath the logic execution will be the same, nothing other than that. How the container is loading will be the different. That's it. So, any points, Naresh, on the Spring Bean stuff?
No, Vikram, it's fine.
It's fine, right? Yeah. So can I go for the transformer or do you want me to stop at this place?
Actually, it's getting late.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's
And Sunday,
completely fine. No.
yeah, Sunday at what time we are going to have it?
Yeah, that's what actually I want to check. Neil, can you help me out with Uday? Okay, he's in online, I believe. So, what is your preferred time? Tell me.
Yeah, I don't have any. I'm okay with any time on Saturday and Sunday. But
Saturday, they said like no
yeah,
session, something.
yeah.
That's what they said.
So Sunday anytime is okay.
Sunday, anytime is okay. I'm looking at 4 o'clock kind of stuff, 4 to 7, something like that, because I have some work at night, 8 o'clock. I'm targeting at 4 o'clock evening. Will that
4
work
o'clock.
out for you?
It will be early morning. Right?
No, 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 no. Evening 4 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah. Uday is in Dallas.
Yeah, he's in Dallas, but he said like Sunday evening IST time is fine for him.
Okay, okay.
Okay, I'll ask Nilima to tell
Better,
that one. If not,
yeah, yeah. Better Nilima can drop a mail so that based on his time.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, I'll speak with Nilima offline. Yeah. Okay, Naresh, have a good day.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, bye.